Hey, what's up, what's up? So today we're going to be talking about Sketchy African. If I was to give this movie out of 5, I would give this a solid 4 out of 5. It's pretty awesome. It's one of those comedies that, yes, it's a comedy. It's sold to be a comedy, but it's clear that the directors and actors had good stories. They had a story about love. They had a story about family. And the pressure that comes from parents. And I know that you've had it 1,000,001 times, how your parents will always be. If you're single, you always get those moments where your parents are like, yo dude, when are you getting married? What? We want grandchildren. So they pick that premise and they do something very interesting with it. Because now this person who is supposed to have someone, so you have this one character, the main character, Miriam, the character that we actually follow. She comes up with she doesn't really come up with the idea, someone else comes up with the idea to use that parent's needs to actually exploit them and get what she needs, because she has her own issues. And that's another thing that is good about this movie. Everything, the motivations with these characters are clear. You know why these people are doing what they're doing. You know, when she decides to do whatever she's doing with the parents and get actors to help her do whatever she's doing, you understand why she needs to do that, because it's clearly established what her issues are. You know why the parents need her to do whatever she's doing, especially the dad, who is very well played by Chris Kamau. You know why they need to do that. You know why the actors, it's very, very clear. Actually, the first act, you know, it's very clear why Akina Bruce, the main actor, is played by Bruce. They need to do whatever they need to do very well. And yeah, there are other very colorful characters that are introduced that make the motivations clear. So that's one thing about this movie that I actually liked. Away from the comedy, everything is clear. It's clear why they need to do what they need to do. And I like the fact that the first act and the last act are extremely unpredictable. You don't know where the story is going. You have absolutely no idea where the characters are going. Because at one point, you have people naked in the forest. Another point, you have people going to the wrong whatever events, and you don't know where it's going. You have cops pop up. You don't know why they're popping up. You know, you have people wearing face masks. You don't know why they're wearing face masks. So that unpredictability of the movie in the first and the last act work very, very, very well. Now, the other thing that I liked about this is the balance. You know, it's a star-studded movie. It has a lot of stars who've done major things, from Kitambo to the modern actors. And I think this is why I think this movie is a love letter to acting, because the plot in one way is about acting. You know, directors are mentioned, this is your direction, you know, you need to act, it's a story about people acting, you know. And then you have actors, modern actors, you have actors who've been there for a while, then you have people who've been there from the beginning. Yeah, you have a very old school actor within the movie. So it feels like it's a love letter to the craft. It feels like it's generally a love letter to on-stage performance and on-screen performance. At the end, it will all make sense if you watch the movie. So yeah, as I was saying, there's a balance between all these characters. The movie has a lot of characters, even small cameos. I mean, when Gerald is introduced, you're like, oh, he's here, so this is going to be comedic. Nope. In this world, this movie is not designed to be funny. It's not trying to be funny. It's a good story that they put interesting personalities within the story. And then when they have these interesting personalities, what they did is that they put them in interesting situations that most Kenyans will find themselves in. And these people react the way people would naturally react. Now, when people are reacting to those situations, for them it's not funny. But if you are to look at it from the outside, as an outsider, they are extremely funny. So watching them trying to go through some of these situations is actually hilarious. Maurice has his moments. And again, Maurice with the costumes, he looks the part. All the characters with the costumes look the part. It fits their personality. You have a character like played by Beatrice, who's always knitting, always in the background. I thought she was underused, but yeah, always in the background. You have Chris Kamau's character who looks exactly like the father. You could buy that. And I can't remember the mom. The mom also looks like the mom. It goes back to casting. Again, very good casting. They look the part, and then the costume designers come in with the makeup artist, and they totally bring out the personalities of these characters. Hey, Kapienga, man. God damn. Shakes Kapienga. You have to see it to understand it. But again, that's where now the makeup and the costume designers come in and give each character a personality that is, in fact, if you are to just pick the silhouettes of these characters, most of them, you can actually make out who these personalities are without actually seeing them, just based on their costumes. So I thought that was really well done. The other thing that I liked, the smaller details, like the locations, because we go through many places, the locations, you don't get like a lot of those wide shots and stuff, but you get in the close-ups and stuff and the settings that they go, the premises that they go to, you can tell that they paid a lot of attention to where they were going. And again, going back to costumes, they are put in different situations that require different looks, different costumes to fit certain vibes, especially as you get to the third act. There are two very different occasions. Without spoiling it, there are two very different things are happening at the same time. And first you go to a certain place and the people are dressed the way people are supposed to be dressed in that particular place. And when eventually they go to this other place, people are dressed the way you'd expect them to be dressed in that particular way. So that attention to detail, I really appreciate about this movie. Now, the biggest thing, my favorite thing, number one, editing. It's punchy, it's fast-paced. Yes, the script is not special. Let me be honest. It's funny, it's funny, relatable, and it feels very, very organic, but it doesn't really feel, it's not like super original. What makes it work very, very well is the editing, because the editing is fast, it's punchy, it's focused, it doesn't have, what I like to call it excessive fat. It's focused, it's accurate, and they know exactly where they wanted to take the story. So the editing is really, really good. The cinematography reminds me of the only thing that I could think of at moments I went like, yes, this is how you use depth of field. This is how you're supposed to use depth of field. In fact, if I was like a lecture in an institution and a person asked me, how do you use depth of field? I would go like, watch Sketchy Africans. They use it perfectly. Apart from that, there is a way that they actually use cinematography, camera framing. Third act, two groups of people are seated on the table and the framing just works. It's funny and it's very effective in putting you in the state of mind of where that particular person is thinking, because you have an awkward moment where a person is placed at the wrong place and they absolutely have no idea what they're supposed to do. So the camera now it's framed in such a way that it puts everyone in the right place and then puts this person at the center. And you get an idea of just how you feel the pressure using the camera. You feel the anxiety of this person just using the camera. And then the choice of framing. When you switch to the other group, there's a way that they are framed that makes them feel larger than life. And then you switch to the other person and there's a way that is framed, you feel that he's under pressure. So those moments like that with the camera work, I thought were pretty good. Yes, I had some problem with the cinematography at moments whereby you would see, I don't know what they were thinking, a character's head was chopped off at the top. Yes, they framed the other person very well. There are two people speaking, but then the other person looks like their head has been chopped off. I don't know if that was a creative decision, but or they were focusing on the person who was speaking on the other side. But those were just small mistakes. So if I was to talk about, as I said, very many actors, and they were all given opportunities. All actors, I was surprised by just how balanced the movie is. You don't feel that there's someone, apart from Beatrice, because she's a very, very good actress, you feel like everyone got an opportunity to actually do what they were supposed to do, to serve Miriam's story. And Miriam is pretty awesome. I like the fact that she was given like a proper arc. Even the boyfriend played by Bruce, I like that he was given, he was given an arc. The person that you meet, his arc is kind of weak, but everyone serves Miriam's arc perfectly. Now, some of the things that I did not like, There were one or two moments, like two characters were having a conversation, then you'd hear the audio dip for one character. It's like they had a single mic for one character, or the other mic for the other person did not work. So you feel like the other person's dialogue is picked by the other microphone. So you have like just one or two. The other thing, these are again very technical. The subtitles for this particular screening that I had were pretty off. That's something they should do. I think that's something that they should do before they put it out there. Now, the major problem that I had with this particular movie is the second act, because the first act and the third act are absolutely unpredictable. You do not know where they're going to take the next scene. And I like that because it keeps you always on the edge. You don't know what happens, and it makes for some really funny moments. But the second act, which now focuses on giving us an idea of who these colorful personalities are, is extremely predictable. It's extremely predictable. I could actually see some story beats coming up before they came up. And I was like, that's pretty odd, because they hacked the first act. The first act, I was constantly on the edge because I did not know where they were going to take the story. But after these personalities are introduced, and they are very funny introductions, after they are introduced, I was kind of, so now this is where they do this, so this is where she does that, and this is where she says now they have to do that, and this is where she makes a call, and she's going to wake up and go like, oh, did I just do that? And then at one point they're going to disagree, and they're going to part ways, and they're going to come together. You see, I thought that middle act was very, very predictable. I'm not saying that the performances were bad. The performances are really, 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 really good, and the story and the writing is good, and the editing is good. But it just felt, that second act felt a bit predictable. As you jump to the third act, jump back now to the mystery of the first act, whereby you have no idea what's going on. Everything is just happening. You know, at one point, in fact, the change, the twist happens, the change. Actually, I can note where I felt like the story absolutely flipped. There's a point where envelopes, 4 envelopes are introduced, and a credit card are introduced. And then you just cut. And after that cut, everything again is elevated. The madness again begins, and we move back into where we were in the first act. The tension is higher, everything becomes erratic, and it just becomes fun again watching these people as they move forward. So generally, Sketchy Africans is a very, very good comedy. It's a movie that I would highly recommend. As a Kenyan, there are a lot of relatable, funny moments that are not designed to be funny. They are designed to be normal in that particular world. But looking at it from the outside, they are absolutely hilarious. And something else that I forgot to mention is that we have a Deus Ex Machina moment in this particular story. I understand what the directors were supposed to do. I understand what the writers and the directors did, but I thought that was more of an scapegoat to get out of that situation very easily, and it was anticlimactic. Anyway, as I was saying, this is a great movie, great performances, very, very good performances. Kapienga was awesome, a bit over the top, but pretty awesome. There are smaller roles for these characters, and I just love the amount of dedication that they put into their characters, despite the fact that they have small moments. But you can feel the effort of these people actually trying to make something good. You can feel the idea that, yeah, it's a small role, but I'm bringing my A game. Their characters, you don't feel that they are characters who are doing too much. You don't feel like they are characters who are doing too little. But most importantly, is this a fun movie? Yes, this is most definitely one of the funniest movies that I've seen this year. It's campy, it's fast-paced, and it's enjoyable. So basically that's it. Would I recommend this to a foreign friend? Yes, I definitely would recommend this if and when the producers and directors get their subtitles right. So basically that's it. Remember to always watch what you enjoy and enjoy what you watch. I shall see you on the next one. Adios!